Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let's continue. So yesterday we understood about data types. We created the first database. We activated the database. We created the table, right? And we understood about the data type. Now, one thing was left over. I need to explain the difference between char and var, right? So first, let me explain that, and let's continue with the remaining commands. So first of all, as we discussed yesterday, for character data or string data, I mean, whenever we are trying to store textual data, we will use either character data type or string data type. So we have two data types in it. One is char and one is varchar. And I also said that whenever we are defining, character data, we will define size also. Right? We did that here. We defined 10 as a size for this employee name column. So what is exactly happen or what will be happen whenever we give some size in this? Let me take the same example. Suppose employee name column, I'm using char data type. And for that, I'm giving 10 as a size. So what will happen generally at the back end? Let me just draw one. Suppose I'm just taking one box and I'm dividing it into 10 parts. Okay. So as I define the size as 10 at the back end, what SQL will do, it will divide it into 10 parts. Okay. And as we discussed yesterday, each byte will take one character, right? Suppose for employee name, I wanted to enter as John. So what will happen? The first letter in first box, J, O, H, N. So this is just a 4-letter word. It occupied 4 bytes of memory, correct? So remaining, I'm left over with the 6 bytes of memory here because I already defined 10 bytes of memory for the employee name column. So whatever bytes of memory is left over after entering a name, this bytes of memory, if it is char data type, if we are using char data type, the leftover bytes of memory will be given with the blank spaces like this. Okay, that means how much memory we define here, how much size we define here, the entire size will be used for this employee name column only. Okay, suppose for example, I define 50 as the size and I used 5 bytes of memory, but still the remaining 45 bytes of memory will be given by the blank spaces and the complete 50 bytes of the memory will be used for the same column. So I can say this is, leads to the memory wastage issue, correct? Our memory is being wasted here just by, filling with the blank spaces, correct? So memory wastage will happen whenever we use char data type, okay? But instead of this, suppose, let me write it here. Instead of this, if I use varchar and I define size as 10, varchar. Previously, I used char and I defined size as 10. Now I'm using varchar and I'm giving the size as 10 here. I'm taking the same box instead of drawing once again. What will happen in varchar? Suppose if I enter the same John as an employee name, obviously it will take 4 bytes of memory. Remaining 6 bytes of memory is there, right? Whatever 6 bytes of memory is there, all that 6 bytes of memory won't be used for employee name column. This memory will be used given back to the database. Okay. So here I can say in varchar, memory wastage won't be happen. The same example, suppose I gave 10 bytes of memory here. I entered John as my employee name. 4 bytes is used. The remaining 6 bytes of the memory will be given back to the database. So how much memory we define here, how much size we define here also no problem. Whatever we want, that much size only, that much memory only will be allocated to that particular column. Remaining memory will be given back to the database, so that I can even define 100 as the size, 200 as the size, no problem. How much it is required, that much only it will take, remaining will be given back to the database. So memory wastage won't be happen whenever we use varchar data type. Okay, that is the main difference here. Okay, so in char, memory wastage will be take place, or memory will be wasted. In varchar, memory wastage won't be happen. No memory wastage. Okay, this is one point. And the other point is that this is the main point actually. Due to this memory wastage, in real time, every time we will prefer to use varchar. In which scenarios we can use char in the sense, suppose if we know exactly how much data we will enter in the column. Suppose gender column. If I'm having a column name like gender, I know how much memory I want. Either I'll enter male or female, right? So accordingly, I can give the size like that. If I exactly know how much size I required, how much how many characters I'm going to enter in that column, that much size only I can define, and I can use char data type, that is okay. But generally every time we will prefer to use varchar because there won't be any memory wastage issue. Whatever how much we defined also no problem, how much it is required, that much only it will take, right? So this is the first and important difference between char and varchar. And second point, in char, we can store 255 characters. Okay. Only 255 characters we can store inside char. Okay. That is up to 255 only. I can define here as the length. I can't define 250 because there is a limit here. Okay. We can define up to 255 characters. We can define up to 255 size only here. Whereas in varchar, we can store up to 64,537 characters. So up to 64K, we can just store in inside varchar. This is one more point, but the main difference is about memory wastage only. As our memory will be wasted in char, we don't prefer to use char. Every time we will use varchar in real time. Okay. And we will call, due to this, we will call char data type as a fixed length variable. By fixed length variable in the sense how much size we define, that size will be fixed for this employee name column, right? If I'm using or not using this 10 bytes, it doesn't matter. All the 10 bytes of the memory will be used for employee name only. So that is the reason we'll call it as fixed length variable. Whereas varchar is called as variable length. It's not variable here, fixed length data type. Fixed length data type, and this is variable length data type. Okay, why variable length in the sense? Characters, right? How many characters we are entering, that much memory only it will take. So that is why we will call it as variable length. According to the variable, according to the character length, the memory will be taken here, right? So we have 3 points here, char and varchar. So I hope it is clear. Most of the time, because of this, because we don't prefer to waste our memory, we will use varchar only in real time. Okay, like that. So this is about how we will create the tables, and this is about the data types concept. Okay, so we created first let me activate the database. Okay, you can see here yesterday we used SQL6 database. Now also we'll continue using the same. So first we need to activate it. We'll activate it by using use command, use database name, right? So use SQL6. I'm just select execute. Now we already created table yesterday, right? That is employees table, but we didn't inserted data. To insert the data, if you remember in Excel file, I shown you yesterday that table structure as well as the data inside it. Now here by using create table, we will just create the table structure. That is, we gave table name, we defined the column names. Now we need to enter the data inside the table. So to enter the data, we will use insert command. We have one more command called as insert, which is used to enter the data. Enter the data or enter some values in table. Okay. So the syntax will be like insert into table name values. We will use a keyword called as values, and then we will start entering the values inside bracket. Okay, let's do that. So insert into table name is employees, and I need to give values keyword, and then I'll start inserting the values in the same order of columns. However, in whatever order we created the columns, first employee ID, then employee name, salary, date of joining, in the same order we need to define the values. So first employee ID, I'll give some employee ID randomly, something like 1 maybe. Next employee name, next salary, next date of joining. If you remember, I said that we need to follow format the date of joining, first year, then month, then date, right? So if you observe here, this is my first row of the data. I defined 4 columns in the employees table previously, and while entering values here, I'm separating the column values by using a comma, right? This is first column data, this is second column, like that. We are separating the column data by using a comma. And if you observe, I gave single quotes for character data and date data type. It can be single quotes, it can be double quotes, no problem. But we need to definitely give quotes for character data and dates. Only numbers we can give it normally. Okay. So this is my first row of data. Here itself, we need to write it within the brackets. And once we need to close the bracket if we are done with the first row. And to enter the second row, we will just keep a comma. And again, once again, we will start entering the values for second row in one more bracket, in the inside the parenthesis again, like maybe I'm just randomly giving some data. Okay. And then comma, row number 3. So 2 rows, 3 rows are enough. So like this, we need to enter. This is my first row of data, and then comma, second row of data. But every time I make sure that character data and for dates, I kept it in single quotes. Even we can use it double quotes, no problem. Okay, so like this. Now I'll just select everything and I'll execute. This is my execute button. You can see it got executed successfully. So we created the table, we entered the data, that is we inserted the data into the table. To see the output, to display the output, we will use a select command. We have one more command called as select, which is basically used to display output. Okay, output of the tables, I can say. So the syntax will be like select star from table name. Here, star in the sense, technically we will call it as asterisk. It is used to display complete data. Okay. If I wanted to see the complete data from the table, then I need to use star. Okay. Suppose select star from table name, that is employees. Here I wanted to display the complete data from the employees. That is the reason I used asterisk here. Okay. Let's see. I'm selecting, executing. You can see I got the output here. It is showing me the table name employees. 4 columns, obviously employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining, and 3 rows, whatever data I entered just now. Right? This is how we will display the data by using select command. Whenever we wanted to display the complete data, we will use star. And if we wanted to display any particular data, then we will use that particular column name. Suppose select, I wanted to display only employee name and salary. So I will use that column names itself, employee name, salary from table name, that is employees. Okay, like this. Let me select, let me execute. Like this, we can able to see. So if we wanted complete data, we will use star. Any particular column data, that particular column names we will mention here instead of star. Okay. So I can see one more new student. So yes. Yesterday we started our demo classes actually. I gave small introduction about SQL yesterday. I explained how to create the database. We created our first database and we created our table. And I explained about data types also. So if you're completely new to SQL, or I mean, if you have already some knowledge on SQL, that will be, I guess, you know that concepts, whatever I explained yesterday. But if you're completely new to SQL, and as you attended today's demo, you will get a mail from our admin team where you can find yesterday's demo video. If you get some time, just watch that video. So you can able to understand whatever you have missed. Okay. Or else still if you have any doubts, you can just ask me in tomorrow's class. I'll just repeat. Okay. And this is MySQL Workbench. Installation process I didn't yet show. I'll show you in couple of days once we are done with demo class. Okay. So any doubts? Anyone? Perfect. And Shubha and Rajiv, I wanted to continue the class from this point and I hope you don't mind. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Perfect. Thank you. All right, let's continue. So this is about our first class actually. As I said, MySQL is case insensitive. We have something like comments in SQL, single line comments and multi-line comments. Comments is nothing but whatever we write inside comments that is non-executable. Quickly in 5 minutes, I'll just repeat whatever I explained yesterday. Okay. So comments is nothing but if we don't want to execute anything, we can just keep it inside comments. Okay. Single line comments in the sense in single line in one line, we can write comments. And for that, we use either this two hyphen symbol or else one hash. For multi-line comments, we use this hash and star, star and hash. That is, this is the start of the comment. This is the end of the comment. In between, we can write whatever we want. Okay, generally in our classes, I will write query parts inside comments like this. Okay, and database is something where we can store all the data, right? So I can say it's a collection of data where we will store all the data. In SQL, first we will create the database. Inside database, we will create the tables, right? So for each and everything here, whatever we do, we have some syntaxes. Syntax is nothing but we can consider it as a formula or a rule which we need to follow, right? For creating database also, we have a syntax that is create database name. Okay, this is the syntax. So that is what we did. We created one database yesterday and I gave the name as SQL6. Okay. So we need to select, we need to execute here. Then we will get to see the database. Okay. And after creating database, we need to actually on daily also before started working on any database, we need to activate the database because in the is obviously in learning process, we will have so many databases. You can see this is a MySQL workbench actually towards the left side, whatever you can see here, there's a list of databases available in my system. Okay, this many databases I created so far. Whenever you install your software, by default, you can see sys database. Okay. And as we have so many databases, every time before working on any database, we need to activate the database. So we currently wanted to work on SQL6 database. To activate it, we will use database name as a syntax. Okay, that is what I did. Use SQL6. We need to, we need to execute. Then it will get activated. Okay. And yesterday I explained about creating tables also. Okay, for creating tables also we have a syntax that is create table name. And within the brackets, we need to give the column name. How many columns we want, that many column names we can give. And for each column name, we need to define the data type. Data type is something which will help, which will actually decide what kind of values we can store inside any database. Okay. So what kind of values we are storing in any column, it will be decided by the data types itself. We have few types of data types, that is numerical data types, character or string data type. Usually numbers will store in numerical data types. Textual data will store in character or string data type. Date time data type is a third one, which we will store where we will store dates and times. Okay. Again, we have some divisions in it. In numerical data type, we have two types, int and float. Normal numbers will be stored inside int data type. Float will accept numbers as well as decimal values. Sometimes we can expect decimal values also, right? So in that scenarios, we will use float data type. For character or string data type, we have to char and varchar. Just now I explained the difference between char and varchar. So basically in varchar, the memory won't be wasted. How much size we defined also, it doesn't matter. Whatever data we are entering. Just now I said, right? Suppose I defined size as 10, but I entered name as John. That means 4 bytes of here. Each byte will take one character. So 4 bytes of memory is used for John. Remaining 6 bytes of memory will be given back to the database in varchar. Whereas in char, the remaining 6 bytes of memory will be filled with the blank spaces. That is, whatever memory we define here, the complete memory will be used for this employee name column itself in char, which is a drawback. Whereas in varchar, it doesn't matter if I give 100 as size also, the memory won't be wasted here. How much data I'm entering, how much it is required, that much memory only will be allocated to the employee name column. Remaining memory will be given back to the database. Okay, so no memory wasted in the varchar, whereas in char, memory will be wasted. Okay, that is about char and varchar. As I said, we will define size also whenever we are defining char and varchar. Okay, so we have in date time, we have two data types again, date and date time. To store dates, we'll use date data type. If you wanted to store time along with the date, we use date time data type. And this is the format. Definitely, we need to use this only. First year, then month, then date. Year, month, date, hour, minutes, and seconds for date time. Okay. Any other format, if you use, it will throw us error. So what we did, we created our first table, that is employees. I gave column names like employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining. Employee ID, I wanted to store numbers, so I gave int data type. For employee name, generally I just gave char data type and I defined size as 10. For salary, we may expect decimal values also, so I gave float. For date of joining, I gave date data type. Okay, and we just executed this table. And by using create command, the table structure only will be created. That is, we are giving the table name, we are defining the column name. That's it. To enter the data, we will use insert command. Okay. And the syntax will be insert into table name values and we'll give the values in the same sequence of the column names. Right. So just now we finished that. And to display the output, we will use select command. Okay. Select star from table name. It will display the complete data like this. Okay, if we wanted to see any particular column data, we will write that column names instead of star. Okay, this is what I explained yesterday. Okay, so now let's continue. The next topic is sub-languages. Important concept in SQL. So we have 5 sub-languages in SQL. Okay, 5 sub-languages in SQL. That is, first one is DDL. Okay, DDL in the sense data definition language. Next, DML, that is nothing but data manipulation language. Third one is DCL, that is nothing but data control language. Next, we have TCL, that is transaction control language. Next, DQL or DRL. You can see in some resources, you can see it as DQL. In some resources, you can find it as DRL. Both are same. DQL in the sense data query language. Okay. And DRL in the sense data retrieval language. Data retrieval language. Okay. So these are the main sub-languages. 5 types of sub-languages we have in SQL, but under each sub-language, we have so many commands. First, let me show you one picture. So this is it. DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, and DQL. Under each sub-language, we have so many commands here. Okay. So under DDL, we have create, drop, alter, truncate, and rename. Under DML, we have insert, update, and delete. Under DCL, we have grant and revoke. In TCL, we have commit, rollback, and save point. In DQL, we have select command. So far, we learned about create command, right? Create is done, insert is done, select is done. These three commands we learned so far. Create is used to create the table. Insert is used to insert the data inside the table. Select is used to display the output, right? Likewise, we have so many commands out here. Let's learn one by one command. I mean, one by one each command. Let's see detail. Okay. Definitely, this will help. We will use them in real time very frequently. So as I said, in DDL, we have five commands, that is create, drop, trunk, alter. Let me write alter. Create, drop, alter, truncate, and rename. Okay. This is about DDL. And next in DML, we have insert, update, and delete. Okay. And in DCL, we have grant and revoke. In TCL, we have commit, rollback, and save point. Okay. And in DQL or DRL, both are same. We have only one command, that is select command. Okay, let's see one by one. First, let's discuss about DDL commands. Okay, so I'm just copying this. Let me write it down and let's understand one by one. First is create command, which we already discussed yesterday, so I'm not going to repeat it. Okay, create command, as we know, it is used to yes, as good database developer need to Okay, Shubha. So, what is your question? As a good database developer, need to know all database. So, how it's possible? Of course, it's all database in the sense, are you talking about all the database tools available in the market, or are you talking about all the concepts of database? Because in market we have so many tools available like SQL Server, MySQL, Oracle SQL, PostgreSQL, like that. We have so many tools in the market. But end of the day, SQL is a universal declared language. Okay, the concepts, whatever we are going to learn, all the concepts are from SQL, and to use that concepts, we will use different tools. In our course, we are using MySQL as a tool. Okay, all the concepts, of course, we will learn all the concepts. Yes, we need to understand all the concepts. Then only we can retrieve data, and then only we can deal with the data. Database is nothing but, we will store the data inside the database, and we, by using SQL, we are maintaining the data. We are storing the data, we are maintaining the data. According to our requirements, we can able to fetch the data. So definitely we need to understand all the concepts involved in this database. And all the concepts, it is, it's not that difficult to learn. It is simple. All the concepts are covered in our course, starting from scratch to the very advanced concepts like CTE, stored procedures, everything will be covered here. Yeah, database administrator is again a different thing. A SQL developer is a different thing. Okay, admin people will, they will just, that is completely a different job role. The concepts also different. This is about complete SQL part, that is developer, SQL developer role, or any other, if whenever we are working with SQL in any other job roles, like it can be full stack, data analytics, testing, it can be PeopleSoft, it can be NetSuite, whatever it is, remaining all job roles, whatever we will deal with SQL developer part only. Okay, and DBA is a different concept. That is completely administration part. Okay, yeah. So if anyone is, preferred to be in the admin side, they will learn DBA. But if you learn SQL developer like MySQL tools and all, not only being SQL developer, there are many job roles out there. This is a kind of base for any kind of domains actually. In any domain, we need SQL for sure. Okay. All right. Like this, if you have any questions, you can just ask me. Okay. Feel free to ask. All right. Let's continue. So create command, I just explained yesterday and just now I repeated, right? Create is basically a command which is used to create any database object. Database objects in the sense it can be tables, right? It can be stored procedures, it can be views, as I said yesterday. Use it to create any database objects. Database objects in the sense it can be tables, views, stored procedures, anything else. For now, we are concentrating on tables. Going forward, we will learn views and stored procedures. There, I will explain the syntax of how we will use create command for creating views, syntax of how we will use create command for creating stored procedures. Okay, for now, I explained about only create syntax for creating table. Okay, so I'm not repeating it again, the same syntax, of course. I'm just skipping create and let's concentrate on drop command. Okay. So drop command is actually used to remove any table permanently from the database. Use it to remove any table permanently, even database also, table or database permanently. Suppose I created one, database. I don't wanted to use that database. I wanted to delete it permanently. Then definitely I'll use drop command for deleting the database. Not only database, if I created any table and I realized I don't want that table, and if I wanted to remove it permanently, then again I'll use drop command to remove that table permanently from the database. Okay, that is what drop command will do. So now let me do one thing. I'll have employees table. We created only one table. Let me quickly create one more table. Okay, so that I'll show you how to use drop command on that particular table. I'm using the same syntax, but I'm just changing the name because again, every time table names and database names should be unique. If again I execute the same command, it will throw me error stating table name employees already exist. Let's check. I'm executing. See, it throwed me error. Whenever we get an error, we can able to see like this red color cross mark and the error message clearly it will show us like here. Table employees already exists, right? Because every time we need to maintain table names and database names very unique. It can't be repeated. It won't accept. So that is the reason I'm giving employees one. I mean, just changing a little bit table name. I'm giving the table name as employees one. Let me just create it. The table got created and let's insert the data. I'm inserting same data. I'm just changing into table employees one once again. Table name I'm changing. It got inserted and let's display the data once. Select star from employees one. And as I said, in MySQL, um, MySQL is completely case insensitive. We can use uppercase or lowercase, no problem. If you can see here, I used capital E. Here I used small e, but it doesn't matter because it is case insensitive. Okay. Now let me display select command for employees one to display the output. This is our output. Okay. You can see to reflect to see this employees one in this list here, we need to refresh once. Here we have a refresh button. Okay. So now we can see we have two tables, that is employees and employees one. Okay, this is my data. Now let's try to use drop command on employees one. The syntax is easy. Drop table, table name. I wanted to drop the table. So that is the reason we will use drop table. Drop table, my table is employees one. I'm just removing that table. So what I just said, drop, basically it will remove the table permanently from the database, right? I'm just executing this. You can see it got executed and you can see here employees one is removed. Now, if I execute select star from employees one, it will throw me error stating no such table. It doesn't exist. Employees one table doesn't exist, right? Because we just removed by using drop command. And the syntax for dropping database. Need to say drop database, database name. Okay. If you wanted to drop table, we will say drop table. If you wanted to drop database, we will say drop database. Okay, like that. So this is about drop command, and I hope I'm clear, right? Create and drop is done. Let's focus on alter command. Important command. We have actually 5 use cases in alter command. That is, in 5 ways we can use alter command. Let's see one by one. The first use case is that alter command is used to add any new column in the existing table. Okay, existing table. Suppose by using create command, we created the table. At that time, we will define some columns, right? For example, we already created employees table. I'm just displaying the data once again. By using select command, select star from employees. We have 4 columns here: employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining. Later, so basically by using create command only, I defined all these 4 column names. Later, I realized that I wanted to add one new column in this already created or already existing table. So at that time, we need to use alter command, and the syntax will be like alter table, table name, add. We need to use a keyword called as add column, column name, and we need to define the data type. Every time, whenever we are defining column names, we need to define the data type for that particular column names. Right? In create command also, we did it. While creating the column names, we define the data types, right? So let's see. Alter table, our table name is employees, add column, column name. Let me add the column name as bonus, and for that I'll give float as a data type. Okay. Because float will accept normal numbers as well as decimal values. If it is normal number also it will accept. If it is decimal value also it will accept. Okay. This is how we will use alter command to add a new column. Let's check. I'm just selecting this. I'm executing. It got executed successfully. Now let's check the data. Actually, I wrote at the top. I'm just executing from here. Select star from employees. You can see I got bonus column, right? Because we just added bonus column by using alter command, right? Clear? Okay. So second use case. This is the first use case of alter command, right? We, as I said, we have 5 use cases. Let's see about the second use case. So the second way to use alter command is that alter is used to remove any column from existing table. Okay. Suppose I created one table, then I realized that I don't want any specific column. I just want to remove the column. Instead of removing the complete table, my requirement is that I wanted to remove only one column. Remaining columns and remaining table, remaining data, I want as it is. But I wanted to remove only one column. Then at that, in that scenario also, we will use alter command only. And the syntax will be like alter table, table name. Here we will use a command called as drop. Add a new column, we will use an keyword called as add column. So to remove the column, we will use a keyword called as drop column. Okay, drop column, column name. This is a syntax. Alter table, table name. Alter in the sense basically the general meaning of alter is change, right? We are saying that we are going to change the table, and what is that particular table name, and then what change we are expecting. We wanted to drop a column and what column we are dropping. That is what the syntax is about. Okay. So alter table, table name, employees table. Okay. Drop column, column name maybe bonus. Whatever column I just now added, I wanted to remove it. Let's check. Let's refresh. If I'm just selecting employees from here, we can see the information about the employees table in this information section. You can see now we have 5 columns: employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining, bonus. I wanted to remove the bonus column. Okay. Let's do. I'm executing. It got executed successfully. Let me refresh. Now you can see bonus is removed, right? Even we can see from the output, we will get the remaining columns only, 4 columns, right? Like that. To add a column also, we will use alter command only. To remove a column also, we will use alter command only. Okay, this is about the second use case. Next, third use case, alter command is used to change data type, data types for any column. Okay, for any column. Suppose after creating the tables, while creating the tables, basically we will define data types for each columns. Later, if we wanted to change the data types, again we will use alter command only. For example, just now we understood about char and varchar, right? Difference between char and varchar. We understood that in char the memory will be wasted, right? So that is the reason. Let's change this employee name data type from char to varchar. Okay. Changing char to varchar for employee name column. Okay, so the syntax is again alter table name. Here we will use a keyword called as modify. Okay, we are modifying. Modifying is nothing but changing, right? We wanted to change the data type. So modify column, directly we need to give new data type. Okay, alter table name is employees. Modify keyword, we need to use modify column and modify column name. Sorry, my bad. Modify column name and new data type. Okay, modify column name is employee name, new data type. What I wanted to give, I wanted to give varchar of, I'm defining size as 10. Okay, instead of char, I'm just changing the data type to varchar here for employee name column. Okay, employee name column. So modify column name, and directly we need to mention the new data type, whatever we wanted to change. Let's check. It got executed. Let's refresh. You can say I got varchar here, right? So that is how we will use alter command to change the data type. So as I said in the first class, whatever tool it can be, the syntaxes will be same, right? In SQL Server, in Oracle SQL, everywhere you can use the same syntaxes. Very rarely there will be little bit changes, and I'll explain that changes also for you, right? So till now, whatever we saw, starting from the create database syntax, till now, whatever we saw, all the syntaxes are same in every database, except this one, changing data type by using alter command. This syntax is little bit different in remaining databases. Okay, in other databases like SQL Server or Oracle SQL, the syntax will be like this: alter table name. There, modify keyword is not available. In SQL Server only we will use modify keyword. In other databases, once again we will use alter only. Alter column name, new data type. Remaining everything is same, but just we don't use modify keyword. Instead of modify, we need to use alter. This one only. Modify only will be used in MySQL. Okay, remaining all other databases, this syntax we need to use. Only this one. Remaining all syntaxes, whatever we discussed so far, the syntaxes are same in all the databases. So this is our third use case, right? Now let's understand, let's see about fourth use case. So alter command is used to change the table name. Okay. So if we wanted to change the column name, first use case is that add any new column. Second use case to remove any existing column, right? We can add a column, we can remove a column by using alter command only. Third use case is that we can change the data type. If you wanted to change the data type, we will change the data type by using alter command only. And the fourth use case is that we can able to change the column name. Sorry, it's not table name. If you wanted to change any column name, we can change the column name by using alter command only. We can use it to change the column name for the existing table. Okay, so let's see the syntax. Alter table name, alter table name. We will use a keyword called as rename column, old column name to new column name. That is the syntax. Okay, alter table name. We are saying that we wanted to rename column, and from column name, old column name to new column name. Okay, for example, alter table name is employees, rename column, old column name. That is, instead of DOJ, I'll just change it a full form, like complete name, date of joining. I'll just give like this. Okay. Let's check. It got executed and let's refresh. Now you can see instead of DOJ, you can able to see complete column name. Right? Like this, we can, if we wanted to change the column names for the existing table, then we will use alter command only. Okay. And last use case of alter command is that again by using alter, it is used to add primary key for the existing table. Okay, going forward in after once we are done with this sublanguages concept, we will see integrity constraints concept. There we will learn about what is primary key. Okay, so in that class I will explain about this use case. But basically this is the use case of alter command. But as we didn't discuss about the primary key, I won't explain this point here. We will see this point. I'll explain this point in that integrity constraints class. Okay, I'm just writing here like this. This is our fifth use. This is how alter command is useful in 5 different ways. To add a new column, to remove any existing column, to change the data type, to remove the column name. And of course, if you wanted to add primary key for the already existing table, we will use alter command. Am I clear whatever I said today?
Yes.
Perfect. So this is about alter command. Next we have truncate and rename. I'll continue with truncate command. So by using truncate command, what will happen? We can, the complete data. Whenever we use truncate command, complete data will be removed. Complete data inside the table will be removed, but structure of the table will remain same. Okay. So basically by using drop command, what we can do, we can remove any table permanently from the database, right? We saw. If I say drop table name, that complete table will be removed permanently. Table in the sense table name, table structure, the data inside the table, everything will be removed. But whenever I use truncate command, what will happen? Only the data inside the table will be removed, but the table structure, that is whatever we inserted data by using insert command, that will be removed. But the table structure, whatever we created by using create command, that will be there as it is. Let's check. To show this truncate command once again, I'm executing, I'm creating employees one table. Okay. Even one more point. If suppose you wanted to execute two commands at a time. Yes, Shubha. If you're comfortable, you can unmute yourself and you can ask, or else even you can ask your question in chat box, no problem. Okay, so if you want, we can. Yeah, next we have delete command in, DML commands. If you can see in DML, we have delete command. Once we are done, once I explain about DML commands, then I'll explain about the difference between drop, truncate, and delete in tomorrow's class. Okay. Of course, we have three different commands. No different differences, actually, no extra differences. The thing is that the why we use other, because it's not recover. I didn't got your question. See, why we will use drop in the sense, if we wanted to remove the complete table at a time, everything like table structure, table data inside, everything, if we wanted to remove, we will use drop. When we will use truncate in the sense, only if we wanted to remove the data, but we want the same structure, then we will use truncate. And
Good evening. Hello. Good evening, madam.
yes, good evening.
Actually, whenever we use the delete command means delete, drop, and truncate.
Mhm.
Truncate. So there are actually in database, if we delete any table such like we did not recover, so why you use the others like truncate and drop command? Means delete
See,
it can be recovered when other not recovered. But each and every database is recovered is quite difficult to means.
see, we have TCL commands here called as rollback and save point. In tomorrow's class, I'll explain about these commands. Whenever you wanted to, whenever you wanted an option to recover your data, then you need to use this TCL commands. Okay. Once if you listen tomorrow's class, you will be get clarity about your question. So if I wanted, see, I'm not sure about example. If I'm not sure about whatever or data I'm inserting, whatever code I'm applying, what I'll do, I'll turn off the auto commit option. Basically, this all the databases available nowadays are auto committed tools. Okay, tomorrow I'll explain detailing in TCL commands. We need to turn off the auto commit option and we can apply our code. If you wanted to delete, you can delete, and you can check the output. If it is not, if we didn't get as we expected, we can just use rollback. Rollback is nothing but something like undo. Okay, whatever data you deleted and or whatever changes you made, that will be restored to that previous data. Okay, something like undo. How we will use control Z or undo, whatever we do now, it will just remove, right? Like that. Okay, recover option is, I mean, it's not about recovering, but if you don't want that, you can just restore that data. Okay, and delete, actually how it will work, if you wanted to remove any particular rows, we will use delete command. Just let me let's I mean, you attend tomorrow's class, Shubha, you will just get some clarity. Okay, once I finish explaining about DML commands and TCL commands, you will get perfect answer for your question.
Madam, today's class is complete or I
Yeah,
still be
it's,
going to?
no, it's completed actually. 7 o'clock I have another batch. The
Oh,
class timing is from 6 to 7. Okay.
ma'am, just can you give me the just 1 second? Actually, ma'am,
Okay.
this is a SQL developer class and it's related to MySQL, I think. And if you said me the recovery option, okay. Is there any option like I want to talk about the PostgreSQL? If I do detect any recovery option, there are certain the scenario. Actually, we means there are option to recover the database. But is it similar to the MySQL have option to recover the same thing? Means data recovery option like to talk in
Data
Postgres.
recovery options, actually, as I said, we can just roll back the data
Mm.
immediately once you apply any changes. If you don't want that changes, you can roll back. And completely, if you are talking about any other recovery options, that comes under admin part again, or DBA part, not into developer part.
Just
In
actually my
developers, we
question.
don't recover actually. Uh-huh.
No. Actually, my question is not the DB and developer option. Means if the MySQL have the option to recovery. Means if I deleted the data, it means it's standards means the developer or
Your
the
voice is
DB.
breaking, Shubham. Actually, it's breaking completely. I'm unable to understand clearly. So you're
Okay,
saying
madam.
that in MySQL, if you wanted to recover,
Yes. It's recovered. There are any option means in PostgreSQL, see that the log option to create the recovery data. In the MySQL, there are option to recover the data. Means if a certain changes in database, they are actually created the log. In MySQL, there are options which similar type.
that is what we will use rollbacks and save points for that. I'll
Yes,
explain that tomorrow. Okay, in TCL commands, we will get those commands.
ma'am, I get the recorded class. Means today I join and the previous day
Okay,
I done.
no problem. So, as this is your demo class, you will get a mail from our admin team. There, they will provide the links for this recorded videos, or else even you can check the videos in the DurgaSoft YouTube channel also. It
Okay.
will be uploaded maybe in 1 or 2 hours, or else you will get a link also in your mails. And once we are done with, tomorrow is our last demo class. Tomorrow is also a demo class. Please do attend. Let's continue explaining about all these commands. And once we are done with demo class, tomorrow is Thursday, right? On Friday, whoever will get registered, for them they will send a new Zoom link. And our actual classes, of course, I'll continue only. Definitely I won't repeat all these concepts whatever we discussed in the demo classes, until and unless you have any doubts. Okay, so from Friday they will give you the folder access, where you can find all the uploaded videos as well as notes, daily wise. Once immediately after completion of our class, I'll upload that particular class notes in that folder. Okay.
How long is going to be complete that?
6 months.
6 months.
Complete. No. You are asking about completion of the course?
Yes, yes.
35 sessions, 35 days actually. Monday to Friday, I'll take 35 sessions it will take to cover. Okay, 6 months is about the video access. Whatever video access,
Okay, okay, okay.
video access will be there. That is for 6 months. Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. Actually, I'm having another class now. Let me just end the session for now. Let's meet tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.